Hello, fellow beaders. Welcome to my world of beading. I am Lynn Wiltzius, and I'm also known as Love to Cross Stitch with the Floss Tube group of people. But today I'm not going to talk about floss tube. I'm going to talk about beading. Beading is one of my interests, and yes, I do embroidery, cross stitch, quilting, you name it, I do it. So that's my cat. I locked her out because she likes to get in the way. Excuse me. Sorry about that. I had to take a pause so I could have a coughing fit, and I don't know why all of a sudden it's coming, but it is. So anyway, I did the video on how to do the peyote stitch, which is tapestry. So, and I was working on my Sophie's fireplace. That's what I've called it so far. And when I was talking about it, I showed how I did the border. So I added the border because I didn't have that in my pattern. And then I automatically add either, like in this case, I need 3, and in this case, I need 2. So I always know that I'm going to be adding 3 and 2 at the end of each row. And each row takes about 45 minutes to an hour. So it takes a lot of work. Sophie's wanting in. Anyway, so when I'm working on this one, and as you can see, this is the top. So all of this that you see is brick. That's part of why I call it Sophie's fireplace, or Fireplace Sophie, is because it's all brickwork behind her. So I have about 1.5 inches done. It takes quite a while, like I said. I haven't worked on it. That's a first. I haven't worked on it for about a month now. And I can tell right here that I'm going to have another bead that's going to come out. So I'm going to have to go back in and fix it. I have, excuse me, I have about 2 beads that are satin in this thing. Whatever you do on delicate beads, never use satin beads. They're very delicate. You can bead them, and then you can go 3 more rows, and all of a sudden it's broke, and you have to go back and replace that bead. Replacing beads is not hard, but it's not fun either, because you're going to be working a big area actually to get that bead back in there, so that you're not losing the other beads. You have to make sure that they're attached as well. So it's a major pain in the butt to me. So I try not to use the beads that break. And I found satin beads are the worst. So whatever you do, don't do those. I've also been working on Christmas ornaments. And so while I was on vacation, I took my beads with me. See if I can get this right. And so before I left, I had 1 set for an ornament right here done. So I have 6 of these, 2 of these, 2 of these, and 2 of these. And this is peyote stitch as well. They're Deb Mott Hall's patterns, and you can find them online. All you have to do is look up heirloom ornaments, beaded ornaments, and you will find her. She does beautiful patterns, and they're not expensive, so they're well worth getting. And I have done that for the last 4 or 5 years, buying her patterns. I've made several ornaments. I've given away a couple of them. It's just fun to do. So while I was on vacation, I worked on these. That's 2. And then the third one is going to look like this. So I have this and 1 more to make, and then I will have another set of ornaments. And when I say ornaments, they turn out like this, okay? These are the ornaments. So you need 6 of these, and then you do the beadwork at the top, and then you do your dangles. The pattern says to do the dangles first, but I found that it's too heavy when you're working. Whoops, almost undid that. It's too heavy when you're working on this part. So I just do this part and then I do the dangles last. And it's a good accomplishment because then you know that you've done. So this one is another one of her patterns. So it's Santa going around. And so that's what that one looks like. And I loved this one. This was fun. I did that 2 years ago, I think. So anyway, those are cool. And then I found out recently that some of the beads are being discontinued because they have lead in them. So I went through the ones that I really liked, and I went ahead and ordered what I needed. And to me, they're so tiny that what lead is in them probably isn't that much to worry about. But people do, and I agree with them. So then I went to High Street Bead Company, and I ordered all of this to go with what I needed. And some of these are on the discontinued part. And then I also needed a few of these, so I got this. Oh, and there's her business card, so I shouldn't cover that up. And Dawn is awesome because she helps me out. So with that bead that I was telling you in this project that is breaking, I had to order this. I wanted another bead that was similar to it. The problem is that I think it's a little darker, but I don't really think it's going to matter that much. When I see it, because she gave me a sample, and if I can find that sample, I'll show it to you. It looks a lot lighter than it does in here. It looks like it's a dark gray here, but here we go. When she laid it out like this, it's more of a lighter gray, and that's what I needed. So I took that one. She was kind enough to send me a sample and say, which one of these do you want? So I determined that I wanted these. So I have all of these beads that I need to put together and put them in my tubes because I usually have them in tubes, you know. So, and I have the number up here telling me which one it is. So with all of that, my main focus in the last couple of weeks has been trying to get these done because I want to try to have about 3 ornaments this year. Last year I was lucky to get 2 done. Oops. But then when I was on vacation, so I have to show you this, I went to the Knock Bay Trading Company, which is in Escanaba, Michigan. And so I got their catalog, which is awesome. So here's their catalog, everything I need, you know. And if anybody's interested, let me know, and I will put their address and stuff down there below. I will try to remember to do that if you're interested. I picked up a, what is it? It's called the Learning Circle. That's what this is. And Deluxe Bead Earring Kit. $24, okay? This is where it's awesome. You get this, which is a book on the different kinds of earrings, techniques, designs. Look at this. I mean, it is picture full of things that you can do. See? And it's a big help. And then in the back, you get a quick thing on how to make your own. So not only did I get that, because that was not much. Okay, so then I got the Learning Circle. And so they're telling me how to use the cones for earrings. So there's an instructions there. There are earring hoops and cones, and trust me, you could probably make 10 earrings out of that. Then the next thing was the thread with the beeswax, because when you use thread, you want to use beeswax. Porcupine quills, and they tell you how to use that in the book. And let's see, 5 different beads. So you get your blue beads, the white beads, you get bugle beads, red beads, and black beads. And all of those you can make into earrings. So I'm kind of excited because that gives me another thing to make. So I've got all of that, and that was only $24. Can you believe it? I've seen people ask for a heck of a lot more when it comes to beading. I even look on Etsy, and for a tube, it's $7. Don't pay $7. The most I have ever paid for these is $3 to $4, and most of the time I get them for $2. So I wouldn't bother with that. And with when you're paying per ounce, you may pay just a little bit more, but you're still not paying $9, $10 for one of these. It's ridiculous. And I don't know why all of a sudden the cost has come up, because at one time I used to get it for $1.40. So I know that things have changed and prices have gone up, but when it jumps to $7, then I know that don't waste your money, because you can find it elsewhere. So anyway, when I was at the trading company, the reason why I had to go, because I tried to go over COVID, but they were closed. So then I had to do a online order, and then all I could do is pick it up. So I didn't get to see their shop. And this time it was the first time I actually got to go into the shop, and I was amazed. I mean, I love how much stuff they did have. So my main reason this time was all of a sudden I ran out of my wire, fire line. So I had to go get this, and they had it. So that made me happy. I switched from my Nymo thread on this piece to this. So it is smoke, and it's 50 yards. And I like how it works on this piece. So I'm sticking with the Fireline Smoke, and I probably will have to order a couple more before I'm done. But I'm okay with that. And so this one that I bought is also 50 yards, which I got, and that's what I'm using on my ornaments. And it was $10. I'm not quite sure what the average cost is on these. I need to do more research. But at the time I was willing to pay $10 because I was completely out. So with all the things I'm doing, and like I said, I'm a dog that goes after squirrels, because this project is another thing I had to go, oh, I gotta do that. So I gotta do that. Now all of the things that I'm doing in beading take time, and that's part of the reason why you haven't heard from me in a while. Sometimes I'm engrossed in what we're doing with Quilts of Valor. I'm trying to get enough quilts to give out to the veterans. When you have close to 100 veterans that you have to give out a quilt to, then I'm constantly working to make sure that we have the quilts, that we can get them done. We can get them done as soon as possible. So right now, I think we're down to about 50 veterans that we need to get quilts out to. And we can do that in a year. The problem right now is that we have the fair, and that's this this coming week. So if we wind up, because we were invited to have a booth, if we wind up with 100 more veterans again, which we got last year, then we're going to be in trouble. So I'm trying to tell my group, don't go pushy, don't get pushy on getting a veteran to get a quilt. Just let them decide, and they can always mail it to me. But I know that there are like 4 of our members that they really want to get their veterans in. So I don't know how this is going to work. I'm okay with that. But it's going to take time. So with that, and having to get those schedules going and having to get them on schedule and doing all of that, then my beading and my cross stitch and my embroidery start to lack. Luckily, I have Brazilian embroidery meetings every Monday. So if I feel like it, I can take my beading and I can work on that instead of working on my embroidery. So I have different things that I can do at different times, but on a day-to-day basis, I am always working on at least one thing. And that's what my blog shows, is what I'm working on today and what I'm working on today type thing. So unfortunately, I didn't post yesterday, so I'm going to have to go and do yesterday's post and post it and then do today. So that being said, that's how busy I am, and that's how much fun I'm having. So if you're really excited about beading, peyote beading, is the way to go. It's just fun, and to me it's like cross stitch. The more you put in there, the more the design starts to develop, so you're seeing it as you're going. It's a joy. I mean, and I think part of that is because when I was a kid, I wanted to learn it so bad. And every time I saw somebody that did it, I tried to talk them into teaching me, and they didn't. But I finally got taught. And the gal that taught me called me today. She's in Spokane now. So we had a good talk, and she's still beading. So that's awesome. So that's about it for today. And I hope you enjoy this video. I will try to do another one later on, and I may show you how I make earrings. That might be fun too. Talk to you later.